I'd like to share with you some of my thoughts about the next speaker who's going to be coming on stage, who, in his own sense, is an internet pioneer who has been in the internet infrastructure industry for as long as I have known him, and obviously before. And I worked with him across different companies that I've worked for in the past, and to introduce Ivo Ivanov as the chairman and CEO of DKIX Group AG, it gives me immense honor to share with you some of his key highlights. Although he recently became the CEO of the entire DKIX group, but he's been the CEO of DKIX International for a number of years and the chief operating officer of DKIX group. And under Ivo's leadership, DKIX has grown their international footprint in a significant way. And Anthony, when you talk about, when was the last time we heard Henrico in the same sentence as Chicago, as New York, as Dallas, as Phoenix? And it's all, when Ivo and I first started talking about Richmond and about Henrico, and I was explaining to him the value proposition of White Oak Tech Park and the infrastructure that's there and what the potential lies. So Ivo believed in that, and thank you for that, Ivo. And here we are today with that infrastructure being inaugurated. But some of the other highlights I want to share with you before I call Ivo on stage, that with more than 20 years of experience in the regulatory, legal, and commercial internet environment, Ivo has been ranked as one of the top 100 most influential professionals in the telecom industry, and he's regularly invited to share his vision, his thought, leadership from an industry-leading perspective around conferences around the world, spanning digital infrastructure space. I mean, it goes without saying that in a given week I talk to him, he's either going to be in Barcelona or in Dubai or in a plane or getting to an airport. So that's the nature of the infrastructure that DKIX has built. It's global, yet it's local. And you'll hear more from Ivo on that. And Ivo, by the way, has been instrumental in establishment of DKIX UPF Global Interconnection Academy in Barcelona to be rolled out globally as a hybrid training program. Yes, one of the recurring themes we are hearing about today is about young kids, about education. It's very important for us as an industry to highlight that, in terms of the importance of that. And DKIX plays a key role in that as part of DKIX Academy. And Ivo has been a big supporter of creating that Interconnection Academy to provide global standard certification for excellence for interconnection experts. So, we have master's program in data centers now. We have specific interconnection focused programs as well. And by the way, Ivo has an educational background focused on law and business, fluent in German, English, Russian, Bulgarian. He attended a German business school and holds 2 law degrees. After graduation, he worked as a lawyer with a focus on e-commerce, IP, telecommunications, and data protection law. And he is not afraid to go to any continent, to any country, to set up an internet exchange, to set up a peering exchange, work with the local government, work with the regulation there, including India. When he talked to me about India, I said, it's just not possible. The government is so tightly regulating it. He says, Vinay, I will make it happen. And he made it happen. And DKIX India is now one of the leading internet exchanges in the Southeast Asian region. With that, I'd like to call upon stage Ivo Ivanov, Chairman and CEO of DKIX Group AG.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this fantastic introduction. Wow. Make me so old, right? And thank you, Madam Secretary, for this beautiful speech. Very personal, very visionary, exciting. Thank you so much for every single word. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, fans of digital infrastructure, I prefer to make it more flexible on stage. Therefore, I asked to get a different mic. Because talking about digital ecosystems is a very important topic in terms of flexibility, and to be very agile, to be very open, to be very neutral is one of the most important conditions for success and prosperity of the foundation we want to create for economic growth. Now, a brief overview on what DKIX stands for today. Vinay, you touched briefly on this, but just to summarize this properly, and before I share with you a couple of numbers, just for those of you who are not familiar with what an internet exchange does, There is a very good analogy describing the role of an internet exchange, the analogy to an airport operator. As an airport operator operates the airport as a neutral body mostly, welcoming all the different airlines to land their aircrafts and exchange passengers and luggage in a very secure and well-organized manner. So does DKIX do for the internet. We run very secure and neutral and well-organized airports for the internet, but just instead of airlines, we welcome thousands of different network operators to interconnect directly instead of exchanging passengers and luggage. They do exchange tons over tons of data packets. I hope now it became more clear. Now, if it comes to DKIX in a nutshell, we do run exchanges on 40 markets as of now. Next week this might change with 41, but as of now there are 40 on 5 continents around the globe, interconnecting almost 3,000 networks, which makes the DKIX ecosystem the largest data center and carrier-neutral interconnection ecosystem on the planet, with more than 100 terabit connected capacity, more than 25 tera of live traffic exchange. And if you ask yourself, who are those networks? Actually, who is who of the internet and telecommunications today? All the names we know, all the application providers we love to work on, and all the different types of business models present today on the internet and telecommunications are connected. Internet access providers, CDNs, so content delivery networks. We do have the content networks like Google, Facebook. We do have the cloud service providers, hyperscalers, but also smaller type of networks. Down the path to really local carriers. Very important internet service providers. They're small, but they do a great job serving neighborhoods, serving small cities, partially underserved rural areas with access to digital services. Having said all this together, I want to summarize for you our strategy. We have been developing all this based on 2 pillars. The one is the geography, the geographical densification. And the second pillar is the service diversification, which means different type of services next to the peering service, which has been mentioned a couple of times today, and we have been providing for 27 years now, which makes us a kind of a dino in the industry. But also new type of services like cloud connectivity services, security services, application interconnection services, closed user groups. I think you mentioned this, Vinay, earlier. All the services we need to provide because of the different variety of participants. We will talk about services during the panel, which will be after the ribbon cutting ceremony. Therefore, I want to focus on geography now, linking also the special moment of celebration today we want to enjoy together. Geography is extremely important. To distribute internet infrastructure everywhere is extremely important, dear friends, for one simple reason. Everything digital today needs to be faster than the blink of an eye, much faster than the blink of an eye. If you don't know how fast the blink of an eye is, I can disclose this today. Depending on the time of the day and our condition, it's around 100 milliseconds. Now, if we talk about the applications we all love as private and business, now the mic disappeared. Private and business applications. Depending on private and business applications, we're in the range of 65 milliseconds and lower. This is what the applications today deserve. So they already deserve a latency lower than 65 milliseconds. Now, if we talk about perfect experience on real-time, live, high-def, sports streaming, NFL, in great quality, great experience, we talk about 35 milliseconds and lower. 35 milliseconds is a great example for the very, very popular online gaming in real time. And it gets lower and lower. Real-time manufacturing management processes are around 15 milliseconds and lower. And if we talk about real-time management of robotics, of security crucial processes down the path to autonomous driving, we are talking about a range of lower than 5 milliseconds. I promised much faster than the blink of an eye. What does this tell us? That the underlying infrastructure needs to be that fast. And it's not possible to be that fast if this infrastructure doesn't arrive where the users are. We're talking about physics, data centers, fiber, internet exchanges, all the different cloud zones, application storages, and. They need to get as close as possible where the users are, disregarding if those users are in their living rooms or in their offices, literally everywhere. Two examples for how important this is, and examples from the sphere of real business use cases. I want to make it very plastic. What I want to make very plastic? The sentence I love to repeat, that latency is the new currency. Latency is the new currency. One example illustrating this. It's from the construction industry. I do represent an internet exchange today, and now I want to give you an example from the construction sector. Number 3 construction company on the planet by revenue, connected several months back to DKIX platforms for their Microsoft 365 Layer 2 connectivity to different M365 applications. They reported a latency reduction because of usage of this new type of direct interconnection application connectivity of 90% from 56 milliseconds down the path to 9, or even lower than 9 milliseconds. Now, the justification from latency is the new currency. They reported a second number, which is even more important now. 50% reduction of Office IT complaint tickets. And this is the real business they benefit from. People in the company became happy, satisfied by the performance of the different systems, in this example, Teams and CRM and ERP based on Microsoft Dynamics. So the company saves not only money, but the companies have happy coworkers, happy associates. They can do their job instead of get frustrated on the quality of different internal systems. And the second example for the importance of latency is an example everybody will understand immediately in this room. This is the example of the connected car. And even I'm not talking about autonomous driving. I'm talking about the connected car as a true computer already on wheels, as the fifth screen in the innovation of technology. The first one, the TV, computer, smartphone, tablet, car. I believe in this. The prototypes are outside. But the connected car today is a data pool. It's a huge data pool. 70% of the data on the connected car, they can be handled when the car sleeps. The remaining 30% are very interesting. 20 of those 30% is data car to cloud. Another 5% are data car to car. And the remaining 5 are car to environment. We all now understand that these 30%, they have one thing in common. They're extremely performance sensitive. They're real-time sensitive. They're latency sensitive. We're talking literally about real-time data exchange, not in the radius of 1,000 kilometers. We're talking about a radius of, let's say, 100, even lower than 100 miles. This is what we're talking about, to make it really secure and really efficient. So these are two examples which should illustrate what latency means for our already existing reality outside. And dear friends and ladies and gentlemen, if we think about all together, all digital infrastructures together that power the today's internet, we'll realize that they represent together the largest mega project in the history of human race already. All the digital infrastructures together are already the largest project our civilization has created. And now, it's hopefully not a surprise, even this mega project already in place will not be able to serve what we have ahead of us. The applications that emerge, the innovation of the era of innovation and the digital, let's say, development in the next decade. What do I have in mind? I have in mind the immersive internet, the concept of the metaverse, but not the product of Meta and Facebook only, because the concept is a very neutral, very broad one. This is a real-time, virtual, digital application of our life. And if we ask ourselves, what does the infrastructure need to provide to serve this immersive internet? I would say the infrastructure needs to provide or needs to be as fast as our brains are. Why? Because of the ability of human beings, of our ability to perceive audio, video, and tactile information. 20 milliseconds, lower than 20 milliseconds are needed for the tactile information recognition. Lower than 30 milliseconds are needed for recognize visual cues. And we have to be better than 2 milliseconds not to recognize audio delays. So if we want to replicate a real, comfortable, authentic, and realistic experience in the immersive internet, the infrastructure being foundation for this needs to be as fast as our brains are. This means the infrastructure needs to be everywhere to deliver the fastest speed possible as our brains do this every single second. And this is all about, if we are able to produce this, and I'm pretty sure we will be, we are partially already able, then we will experience a beautiful world of undreamed of applications, of a universe of new business models and economic growth. We'll be able to place orders in restaurants, enjoying the aromas of the dish in advance. We'll be able to smell a perfume before ordering this in the online store, and we'll be able to get the tactile, let's say, sense of the fabric, ordering a next gift for our wives or our husbands or our friends, like a jacket or whatever else. This is what the future ahead of us deserves in private, but also in business lives. Now you understand why the mission of all of us should be to develop the best and the most robust and secure infrastructure everywhere. And this is something I truly believe in can happen not by incumbent mentality, or not a single operator can deliver this. This should be done in a sense of communities, in the sense of ecosystems, in the sense of collaboration, and in the sense of partnerships. And that's all about. So proud of what have been created together. The Internet Ecosystem Innovation Committee stays, as the word ecosystem says, for partnerships, for ecosystems, as being the natural biotope for the best infrastructure solutions possible. And now, having said this, our approach for arriving in Richmond, we want to celebrate today with The DKX Richmond platform, together with all different partners, is related to what I just said. And I said, develop the infrastructure the people and businesses deserve, disregarding where they live, because it's about quality of life everywhere. Every single individual deserves the best quality of life possible. And I want to invite you, Madam Secretary, to, of course, do the first very standard approach of opening not a new platform. It's a begin of an ecosystem, using the famous ribbon cutting first, and then we'll jump on a more digital version of it. I think the team has prepared this very impressive scissors, as you can see, and we shouldn't be gentle with those, right? We shouldn't, yes, we shouldn't be gentle with this. I think it's extremely important to say at this moment that there have been a lot of people involved into what we have created here. Our friends from Henrico County, of course. Thank you, Anthony, and all of the other supporters. Of course, the great data center partners like QTS, like Pixel Fabric Factory, our friend Scott Brown, and the entire community behind the Richmond, Virginia Internet Exchange, the RVIX, which has been the platform we started building on. And of course, the exciting DKX team worldwide, but most important, the DKX North America team. We do have great representatives here with Ed Agostino and Kendra being very focused on the Richmond area. Peter, Elisa in the room, we'll invite them later on to stage. But now, first with the scissors, let's celebrate the start of a birth of a digital ecosystem which will bring more prosperity and economic growth to the entire Henrico region. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Well done. And now I promise that we will, of course, use also a more digital device, as our industry stays for, can you help me, please, to put this more in the front? Also to celebrate the opening of this ecosystem, inviting not only you, Madam Secretary, but also Vinay, you as being supporter and promoter of this project for so many years, and to want to invite also Ed D'Agostino on stage. Ed, please join us on stage. Ed D'Agostino, the director of DKX North America, and being from day one the man who created, together with all of us, the success of DKX in North America. And last but not least, Dr. Vin Cerf. We all know without him, these talks about internet infrastructure wouldn't be possible. And I would say the following. It's our goal here to create in Richmond, in Henrico, the next big international digital hub. We need more of those on the East Coast. Ashburn, New York, Miami, they do not do the trick in the future. We need more. And let's do it together. I'm absolutely convinced that we will do it very fast and very successful. Let's put our hands on this button and
Are you sure we're not studying?
No. It's about the next digital talent, right? And then we will start counting. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you see, this is DKX Richmond for digital infrastructure lovers. Thank you so much.